So let's talk about the separation of church and state. Uh, I think one of the most disturbing aspects of what's been going on of late in the elimination of history is that this nation was founded by a group of God-fearing men who not only believed in God, but believed that he was involved in founding this nation and in helping us preserve our freedoms. And of course, a major principle in founding the country was freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. So there are those who do have an agenda, and the agenda being eliminating religion, um, who will take some statements out of context from the founding fathers. One of the best examples is that John Adams once wrote that in his despair that he would say, wouldn't this world be wonderful without religion? And and so they will point to that, but they do not give the rest of the quote, which is that that feeling quickly passed when he realized that without religion, that this world would be nothing short of hell. So obviously, there's a big difference if you don't look at the end of his statement. They do acknowledge that our rights, our inalienable rights, were endowed to us by the Creator. That sounds kind of religious. And of course, they simply wanted to make sure that this nation, the citizens of this nation, were protected from a government who established a church. So they came from the Church of England, which, quick history. Henry VIII was actually a devout Catholic, and he got perturbed because the Pope would not annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. And so he decided, okay, done with that, and just gave up on Catholicism. So he set up the Church of England. And then those who did not disavow Catholicism in particular would be killed. And so knowing that that was, where we were at historically, coming from Britain, then the founding fathers here were looking for freedom to practice whatever religion. They also wanted to make sure that no one was told they had to join a church, whether it be a state-established church or not. So the First Amendment makes sure that that it's clear that we have a right to exercise our religion, that is not supposed to be something that is interfered with. And also, what they recognized is that if you're truly living your faith, then it doesn't stop at the door of the church. We still sing, and they'll know we are Christians by our love. And so that's such an important principle. Following the Ten Commandments, it just makes you a decent person. John Adams actually said that the Constitution was written for a moral and religious people, and that it would be of no use if the inhabitants of the nation were not. So I think right now what we've been battling for a long time is people don't like to be made uncomfortable, and they perceive that talking about religion makes them uncomfortable, makes them feel like a lesser person. And so the way to make themselves feel better is eliminating the word Christmas, in a school program, or um, or just Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas. So what what does the separation of church and state really represent? And what it represents is that you, as a taxpayer, should not have your tax dollars going to support any particular religious institution. And so that's the way it's been, and that's fine. I believe that that wall of separation that Jefferson intended, that he referenced. What's disconcerting is that people were starting to interpret it as there just shouldn't be any religion. I've always been puzzled by why people get so upset with others practicing religion. Um, I believe it makes, for a better person. And I think that if that's not what you do, then that's your business. It's personal matter. It's a personal faith. I remember as a young woman, when I listened to people who would rail against religion, they would call people stupid for believing in God. And I used to think, what's the big deal? I mean, first, it's me. I'm not forcing you to believe the same. Um, and as far as that goes, if I spend my life believing in God, if I spend my life following the Ten Commandments, and then I die and nothing happens, so what? How did that harm you? It didn't. It enriched your life because it made me a better person, because I lived my life with the knowledge that there is another life after this, and that we are responsible for our actions while we are here. Um, and so I live my life in that way. And so I always found it interesting that people wanted to stop people from living their lives that way. And I think that, as John Adams correctly said, that were that to happen, that this would definitely be hell on earth. And we see it. We see that when there is an absence of religion, when there is an absence of spirituality, we are spiritual beings, and that creates a void. And so we have to fill it with something else. And it isn't being filled with good things. I think we've all been given a glimpse over this past year of what happens when people are not embracing Christian ideals and are demonic. And that's enough to make me double down on the importance of religion in our society. So that's what I think about that. And I could probably talk about it for a long time, especially since nobody's interrupting me, right? But I will chat at you again next week. God bless.